LCR.
All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Tea Time Talk. We're in our second season, in our second episode. As usual, I am your host for today. So my name is Fritz. If you don't know me from before, welcome to the show. And as usual, I am joined by my special guests. Today we have Reuben.
Hey guys.
And we have Nezar.
Hello.
How are you both doing?
Pretty good.
I'm doing fine. Just preparing for a quiz next week. That's all.
Okay. So, welcome to Tea Time Talk. If you haven't heard the show before, this is where we discuss sort of things that have happened in the news for the first half of the show, and then towards the second half, we tend to discuss things that are of our interests. That's the way to put it. But again, this is our second sort of season running it. We did it once last year, and now we're back. Hopefully, we'll entertain you with what we've got today. So let's begin with the first half. So the first half of the show is where we discuss sort of recent news stories that have happened in this week. I'll pass it on to you guys. So do you have any sort of news stories that you'd like to tell us about?
Well, I say the biggest one so far is Catalan independency.
Yes, that's true.
That's a very interesting topic, I guess.
Yeah.
I would say that... How do we begin this one?
Well, what about a bit of a background check before we go on to the actual thing? So do you want a bit of a background check on Catalan?
Yeah, sounds good idea.
Okay, so Catalan, I'm trying to remember if this was in October, like early October, they had a referendum where the 90% of the people who voted wanted to declare wanted to be independent from the rest of Spain. Sorry, English is not my first language, remember that.
That's right.
So they wanted to declare themselves independent from Spain. However, there was only about, I think, around 40% of the people who could actually vote in that. And Spain already deemed that referendum illegal. So Spain didn't agree with it. Now, when that referendum happened, Spain gave Catalan a time limit to say, are they genuinely declaring independence, at which point Spain was going to say, okay, well, we don't really, we don't care, so we're going to take over that region. So what happened within the last couple of days is that Catalan has declared independency from Spain with, I believe, 70 votes for dependence, 10 against in the Catalan parliament, and 2 abstaining. That was done, I think, yesterday. But around the exact same time that was done, Spain then declared that they are going to invoke Article 155, which means they're going to take the power away from Catalan. So, if I may pose a question to you both, this seems messy. This obviously seems very messy. Is this democratic?
I would say no. I would disagree that I would say it's not democratic at all.
Right.
And the reason I say that is because obviously I believe that if Spain was truly wanting to make this a democratic situation, they would vote themselves. They would have more of they wouldn't take the power away. If Catalan wanted to be independent, it should respect its votes and its rights to being able to declare independency.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is that Catalan have voted for independence, and I think their wishes should be respected.
Okay. That's a fair point, but remember here that this was a referendum that was voted in by less than 50% of people eligible. It was already deemed illegal at the time. The problem I see with this is that Spain didn't allow the people to. Well, Spain specifically didn't allow people to vote in the referendum. It deemed it illegal, so it already on that grounds. It was a bit sort of iffy, wishy-washy in regards to democracy, the democratic aspect of it.
Yeah.
But again, there's issues on both sides. So Catalan obviously declared this referendum that wasn't in agreement with Spain, but Spain then also used force against the people of Catalan, which wasn't fair in that regard as well. What do you think, Nezar?
Yeah, it sounds like not a very good situation. I feel like maybe what Spain was doing is a bit backwards. I don't know if it was an okay thing to say, oh, this is illegal, don't vote in it. Mm-hmm. It's honestly, you can look at it from both sides, actually. I don't think I definitely agree that what they're doing isn't democratic, but do you think that there was a better way they could have handled the situation? There definitely was a better way than just saying, oh, this is illegal, don't vote in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
That's just my opinion on the situation.
What are you thinking there, Ruby?
I'm thinking that maybe what would be better then to move in terms of moving forward would be to agree another vote.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And with a larger populace.
Right.
So that instead of having a small group of people vote for it, they should have a larger group vote for be eligible to vote.
Okay.
And then you can get more of a better idea of who wants independence and who doesn't want independence. And that way Spain may be a bit more tolerant. Obviously, if they still take away or say it's illegal or say, they're not allowing it, then we can raise issues about respecting rights of Catalan.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, if Catalan do their part right and make sure that everyone's eligible for voting with who is eligible for voting, make sure that it's a much more, what's the word?
Legitimate.
Legitimate, yeah, that's it. A legitimate vote. Then I think it'll be better.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I definitely think the problem, that's the correct word, was legitimate. That none of this at all was like a legitimate vote. I'd agree. Get together, agree on because obviously there's people who want independence. There's going to be people who don't want it.
Yeah.
So it's fair to do I definitely say do another vote, this time on a larger scale. I'd agree with that.
Okay, so you'd say Spain, controls this one and does another referendum where people are allowed to vote again.
Yeah, allowed to choose.
Because you brought that up, let me ask you this question. Would you apply that same scenario to Brexit? Because Brexit, again, we had a 42 versus 45... No, wait, not 52 versus 48, sorry, my mistake. So 52% versus a 48%, so a 4% margin, where I think about 60% of the population voted, or the eligible population voted. And now there seems to be a massive retort, not just from people within the UK, but people outside the UK.
I mean, I would say that due to the fact that there's only 60% of the population voted, it's still quite a majority, because it's still over half.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that it would be more important this time, obviously, looking at how the government is dealing with it. And also there was all sorts of false promises made by certain parties during the campaigning. So what I would say is if there's a chance we can get a second vote, I would say it'd be all right. And we can then get a true grasp of what people truly want.
Yeah.
Because now they flirted with the idea of actually being out of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are starting to realize the true scale of what they're doing. And I think either way, we'll find out, whether it's a good idea or whether it's not a good idea. Yeah,
I definitely agree with that. I definitely think another vote would probably benefit. Because the first time round, you were saying stuff like there was a lot of false promises, which is true. I'd also argue, and just in terms of the public, I feel like maybe not everyone grasped the true severity of the situation. I think that there was a lot of people who just voted for the sake of it. I think if we did it again, we definitely need to find a way to educate, or just get the word out on what it is, what you're going to be getting by staying, or you're going to be getting by leaving. Which one do you want to do?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because there was, and I know people personally who just voted for the sake of it, and didn't care for that kind of thing. I definitely think if we did definitely do another one, make a very, very big deal, because a lot of people glossed over the first time it happened.
I think that's a very fair point to make. I don't know what my position on the situation would be, because again, we did have a referendum that was democratic, and then doing another one would seem slightly undemocratic because we've already had the first result. But again, it depends. From what we've seen of how it's been run, it's not been run very smoothly, I'd say, the least. The whole exiting the EU, the whole sort of form of that and how the government's handling, again, as I said last week, is not being handled very well. So I don't know what I'd say I don't know if I'd say I'd want another one, or if I'd want it to just get on with it and sort themselves out and actually fix this thing. Because that's definitely something I would say to the current whoever's in the lead, whoever they are, whoever's organizing this, that they need to get their freaking mind in gear and sort this shenanigans out, because a lot of people are worried about the future. A lot of people, not just within Britain, outside of Britain, people living in Britain from the EU, people who are not even from the EU but live in Britain, are worried, because the way that recently they were holding EU citizens hostage again in the Brexit negotiations, it's just a shambles. So I think definitely they need to fix themselves up again. But anyway, swinging it back to the Catalan story. What are your opinions on this whole thing? So we've spoken about the democratic aspect of it. You know, is it democratic? Is it not democratic? But what do you personally think is going to happen in the future?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I'd say that that Catalan should have a right to being able to vote. I do think they should have an ability to declare independence, because, you know, human rights and all that. But I would say that I disagree with the way it was handled initially.
Okay.
Like how finite the populace who were allowed to vote were. And so, as I said, it's kind of, I'm for it and against it. I'm for what they're doing, their reasons and what they want to do, which is to be independent, but I disagree with their methodology, I would say.
That's fair.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. You gotta talk this kind of thing out, you know, you gotta be more civil about this kind of thing. I'm not saying that what they did wasn't, but, like, you know, as we discussed, the vote, there was a lot of non-legitimacy behind it. So I definitely agree with that, 100%.
The thing that did tick me off about this whole sort of thing was the use of police force against the people who did vote in the first referendum, or the original referendum, if there is a second one. It just seemed really brutal and unnecessary, the way that people were treated. And there was brutality on both sides, so, you know, both sides had issues. It was police attacking citizens attacking police so that they could get the right to vote. But the fact that Spain used police and blocked people's access to vote, even though it was illegal, you should have allowed people to vote the way they wanted to.
Yeah.
So that if they wanted to join, if they didn't want to join, that's up to them. Just don't force your own sort of, since we're the main sort of big thing, we're going to say it's not fair, it's not legal, we're going to do what we want to do.
Yeah.
But that's my view on the take.
I definitely agree with that. But my thing is, I think a lot of people are now that aren't in the country, and, you know, I think a lot of people are actually going to be behind the independency thing now, because the fact that Spain would have to resort to brutal attacks by the police, because to the public, what does that look like? Do you know what I mean? A lot of people that aren't looking into it, just from an outsider's point of view, a lot of people aren't going to see both sides of the story. They're going to see, look, a policeman's attacking an innocent man.
Exactly.
Going to side with the people that's getting attacked without seeing necessarily both sides of the story. So I think not only is it bad that what Spain did from a point of view that's inhumane, they were also, from a public point of view, that's not a smart thing to do.
Okay. No, that's a very reasonable point to make.
Yeah, I definitely think you need to take public opinion, especially, maybe not so I definitely say you should take other people's opinions into account, because the world is going to view you one way now, and it's like, oh, that wasn't good.
We're so interconnected that everything you do as a country is going to be reflected upon every other country.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be commented about in every other country.
Well, yeah, because it's already been commented by American government, as well as the European government and UK as well. It's already been, it's been quite interesting. I can't remember who specifically said it, but the decision for the independent vote was called foolish by someone in the American government.
Oh, okay.
So,
is it most likely that one person that we all think it probably is?
I mean, it possibly is. I don't know for certain. I'm not gonna, create false news, but
fake news. It's all fake news. We're gonna have a tweet about us. It's 100% fake news.
Fake news. But I will say, it's from what I've seen so far. A lot of the governments from, say, hello. We're just moving the microphone. I would say that a lot of the governments, like European governments, American government, has not agreed with the Catalan independence. A lot of people are supporting Spain in this instance, and even apparently, even if Catalan does declare independency and does get its way, then they're going to get kicked out of the EU, and they're going to have to reapply, and apparently it's going to be lengthy.
Yeah, of course, because if they did apply to if Catalonia becomes an independent state, and they apply to the EU, Spain's going to block it, France is going to block it, and I'm pretty sure some other countries. The UK will obviously. Well, the UK is just what is it? The UK and the EU.
we gotta help ourselves first.
Yeah, we've got our own shenanigans to sort out.
We can. I would suggest, like, if they do, and if we're still in the position of leaving, then we should totally create a like a treehouse club. You know what I'm saying?
A treehouse club.
Yeah, like a
team
Welcome
up with
to Nintendo
everyone.
Treehouse.
Team up with everyone else kicked out of the EU.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone who's kicked out of the EU or
Form our own
or has a lengthy process of going back in, then they can just join us and we
Join
can
the
trade.
Scotland, England, Northern Ireland Union of we left Brexit. We left the EU.
We just trade and have a good time.
I mean, we could create our own little union. Yeah, that could be an idea. Do you want to pose that to Theresa May, considering how she's not knowing what she's doing?
Maybe, I guess so. I could give it a go, but I doubt it'd be fruitful.
It's worth a try. Send her a nice email. Yeah,
Just a very nice email, along with all the other complaints.
all the other. That was going to be a lengthy email then.
Yeah.
You probably would be. No, not my complaints. I don't have any complaints, but I just imagine there's a large populace who do have complaints.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Beautiful dance around that system right there. Right, should we move it on to our second story?
Mm-hmm.
So I had something I'd like to bring up. This is sort of more of a UK sort of... This is affecting university students or university a lot more than it's affecting the general society. So, from what I read, a Conservative MP sent a letter or email, I don't remember which one it was, to several vice-chancellors, to probably all of the universities in the United Kingdom, to all the vice-chancellors. That means our VC Bob got a letter from Mr. Chris Heaton Harris. I'll remember that name, don't you worry, I will remember that name. Don't you worry.
Chris, run.
As a politics student, I will remember you.
Chris, run.
Remember that. This is a telltale game. I will remember.
Oh my gosh.
But he sent a letter around to all the vice presidents of several universities, if not all of them, asking which one of your lecturers was teaching about Brexit, and also asking, could I have a syllabus of who's teaching what about Brexit? Now, of course, this got a lot of backlash, and he then tweeted saying that, he only wants to know because he's an advocate of freedom of speech and wants to ensure that we're having an open debate about Brexit. What is your opinion about this guy? Because I'll let you talk about him before I dig my frigging nails into this dude.
I mean, this is the first time I've heard of such a incident, but it seems... I mean, if he really is discussing about freedom of speech and wanting to talk about having an open debate, then I guess it's not bad, but at the same time it's a bit like shady that he's asking for teaching material and, you know, asking who's teaching about Brexit and what they're teaching, and it does seem a bit like, are we 1984 kind of stuff. I mean, I doubt it'll go that way. I'll be honest, I doubt it'll go that way, but who knows, you know, we live in crazy times.
We do. Nezar, what do you think?
I'm kind of like iffy, like why would he want to know who's teaching about that? That's kind of like, I'm a bit confused on that.
Maybe he wants to find out what they're saying. Like,
what if he's genuine? What if he really does want to find out what they're saying, and he just wants to have an interesting conversation about that kind of thing?
That's not the right way to go about it, though, is it?
No, of course not.
Sending an email to vice chancellors asking, hey, who are your lecturers that are teaching about Brexit, and what are they teaching Brexit about?
Yeah, that's kind
of...
it's
not the best way, but it's certainly not the worst way.
It's not the best, but it's not the West.
That's the point I'm getting at. Like, he's not technically done anything wrong by doing that, right?
I mean, the fact that he's asked is courteous. I mean, the likelihood is what he could have done is he could have sent someone in without knowledge, without the lecturers having knowledge, so they find out through a kind of espionage kind of way.
The intelligence way of looking up for information.
Yeah.
He could have done that.
He could have done it a really, really shady way, but I do believe that asking and allowing for a response, if that's what it is, that's fine, because then you can say, no thanks.
Okay.
Well, I mean, he did ask very kindly, and I will give him that. You know, he did ask kindly. He was like, could I please be informed as to which lecturers at your university engaging in the negotiation or that talks about Brexit and what syllabus they have? And so, it was written nicely and formally and all kinds of nice and loveliness. But there's something about that just irks my mettle. Like it just really doesn't sit well with me that you have an MP in Parliament asking universities to say, it's kind of like asking them to tell us who's teaching about this current issue and what are they saying about it. And I don't know if that's so that they can like put the people who say certain narratives about Brexit on a watch list, or like a little thingy majig where they, you know, just like, oh, this guy's teaching something that we don't agree on. He might be doing some, not radicalization, but he might be like telling students, you know, this
Certain
person doesn't
things,
agree with Brexit, this person agrees with Brexit. I would be worried for the lecturers because, of course, I like most academic lecturers voted in like to remain, but there are those that voted to leave, and I know a lecturer that voted to leave.
Yeah.
And I'd feel a bit worried for that lecturer if suddenly, you know, the MPs are just disclosing all of this, like, hey, let me know who's
as soon
doing
as you
this.
start disclosing information to the general public, you know, I think it could get a bit controversial.
Yeah.
I think there could be a lot of like I would not be okay with people knowing what I voted. Like,
yeah, of course.
Like, you know, for privacy's sake, it's like my decision.
That's the point of like votes. You yourself can say who you voted for, but if you're if you don't want to discuss that kind of thing, you shouldn't be forced into a situation where people are like, oh yeah, he voted for that person.
Yeah.
That's not okay in a country like this where we live off democracy, so you can't do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Again, I think most universities probably said no to disclosing this.
I mean, like if he has any respect for like freedom or free speech, then I do hope that he just goes, okay, he said no, that's fine, I'm just gonna back off. But I do have a small feeling that it might not be the case. Like, I think they're going to be quite civil about it and go, you know, you said no, that's fine, we're just going to back off.
Yeah.
But if it's like you said no, we're just going to send someone else in to find out instead, you know. I mean, if they're going to put people on watch lists, if it's your theory, then likely it is they're going to find out one way or the other.
But that's just a theory. A radio theory.
A political theory.
A political theory. I'll take that.
Yeah, it's
Thanks for listening.
I'd definitely agree with that. You know, that's invasion of privacy. You can't do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Especially in especially in the world we live in today, that stuff you just can't do. Let me pose a question. So, yes, what is the possible worst-case scenario in the situation? Would you say everyone's being put on a watch list? Would you say that's the absolute worst possible thing that could come from this?
The worst-case scenario is that we start seeing lecturers changing the way they teach their subjects because of this.
How so?
So, for example, let's say a person that was really an advocate of Brexit, or was opening the narrative about Brexit to their students, but inputting his own opinion maybe at times, which I don't think lecturers are meant to do anyway. They're not meant to sort of display what their views are. But of course, there isn't a person in this world who is unbiased. There isn't a single person in this world who's unbiased. So, even a lecturer will have their own views and say their own things and base their own things upon things that they've read.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful sentence. Things. But
lots of things.
What I'm scared might happen is, because this affects me as a student who's studying like that kind of subject, it affects me because some lecturers might feel more reluctant to talk about certain topics regarding that, might feel more like changing their subjects, changing what they're focusing on instead of discussing that. And that just doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Same.
If a university is meant to facilitate discussion and debate, now having a list at the parliament of who's saying what about, a certain topic isn't really helping facilitate that. That's more like, oh, we know what you're talking about now, and now we're going to watch over you to make sure you don't say something we don't like, because if you do, you're going to be in a bit of a trouble.
Like, we know what you said there, son.
Exactly. It's not fair. That's not engaging discussion. And I don't know if this Mr. Harris is actually advocating for free speech. I hope he is, or open discussion. But if this is some underground reason, because everyone will say, I'm advocating for free speech in regards to certain topics.
Yeah.
But again, the method does not support the statement.
Yeah, exactly. It all starts like pretty easy at first, pretty safe, and then we end up in 1930s Germany and nobody can say what they want to say,
or like Orwellian future. It's like I doubt, as I said, I doubt it come to that. I really hope it's not that.
Yeah, I doubt it comes to that at all, but it's just it's the small things in it.
Yeah, and it to say something's entirely impossible is kind of hard to say nowadays, because
Yeah,
The amount of time people have been proved wrong. All the experts said, "Oh, this person's going to win." They're wrong. You call yourself an expert.
Don't believe exit polls.
Nobody will believe that Trump will actually become president. That's like everyone's mindset.
You really want to go back to that? We left that in November. We left that in November. Let's not go back there again. That's one massive plot hole.
Wasn't me. It was our friend here, Nezar.
Yes.
I blame him.
Point fingers.
I am. Audience, I'm pointing my fingers at him. Don't worry.
Oh, come on. Listen, why can't we be friends?
We are
Why
friends.
can't we?
That's why I'm pointing at him.
We are friends in theory.
In political theory.
Yes.
Any other theories?
Why not just bring out every theory? Right. So the third topic. Have you guys got any other topics? Any third topic?
Nope.
Ruben's got none. What do you got then, Nezar?
You know what? I don't think it's going to be worth talking about.
Why? Why not pose it out there? We'll see what we can bring it.
Can we go to yours first? Because I actually need to get the story up again.
That's fine. So my, sort of like other story was that the Kennedy assassination files have been released.
Ooh, okay. okay.
So there's that, and from that, there doesn't seem to be a lot of new stuff. There seems to be a lot of sort of more in-depth stuff. There was some regarding Harvey Lee Oswald. Is that his
Harvey Lee Oswald?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Harvey Lee Oswald.
Harvey Lee Oswald, yeah.
Yeah. So there was some more information regarding Harvey Lee Oswald, and there's also been some files that haven't been posted yet. But that's just because they need to be sort of background checked, or if they're deemed a threat to the national security of the United States to America, then they're going to be held back. So far, I don't know. I don't want to know what are your peeps' opinions on this. Have you looked at them, or do you just what do you think?
No, I haven't looked at the files that have come out. No, but. Or the ones that were leaked or whatever. But my thing is, does this bring us any closer to the truth? That's the question I'm posing about the whole, mystery surrounding JFK's death. All we know was that he was shot.
And beautifully put.
But we there's still debate to this day on who exactly did it, how many times he was shot. Is this bringing us any closer to the truth?
Well,
why he was shot, stuff like that.
All it was saying is that Harvey Lee Oswald was acting alone. That's one of the key focuses. It wasn't saying that there was anyone that was responsible or anyone else that had a part in this. It was saying he was the responsible actor. Now a lot of people now are disagreeing with that and stating or saying maybe he was working for another government, like a Cuban government or something. Maybe he had other sources. Again, it's just opening up further discussion and further sort of some people call them conspiracy theories. It depends on what you think they are.
Yeah, because I would say if he's working alone, then I want to know is the more curious thing would be motive, why, if he was working by himself, or is he just psychotic, or does he have a actual genuine reason? When I say genuine reason, obviously I don't mean a legitimate reason, obviously, very legitimate reasoning, but is it Cuban governments? Is it all the weird conspiracies you get nowadays?
There's a lot of fake news around them.
Yeah, I would say if it's I think the important thing that we can learn from this is the motive. It will make more sense, I would say.
That's definitely the most interesting part of it.
And why he did it.
If only, the poor man wasn't shot himself.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then they said the man who shot him claimed he was going to reveal the truth, but then he died in prison. So I can understand why a lot of people like to make this. It is a really big conspiracy theory because the person who shot the president is died, and then that person who shot him died. It's like we're getting nowhere with this kind of thing.
Yeah, because all the people who know what's going on get killed.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe people are afraid to come out about it because they're afraid they'll die next.
I mean, true, but it's been a long while. I don't know if it's that, or maybe it's just a case of unlucky.
Yeah,
a case of unlucky.
A really bad case of being unlucky.
You were just in the right place at the wrong time.
Yeah, exactly.
That was just
wrong place, wrong time.
It really is just a weird situation. Yeah. Even though these files get released, I honestly don't see us getting any closer to finding out why it was done.
Unless, of course,
I think it's going to be a mystery forever.
I mean, the files that haven't been released, unless they unveil really things like motives or anything like that, they find a reason or who he was linked to. Obviously he said he was working alone, but if he had other connections or
Yeah.
people he was related to either by blood or by social or friends,
Yeah.
family, or just
So
any
you're
other
saying,
reason.
so you're saying they could have like got information out of people who knew him. Personally.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, if there's anything in the files that say about relations to who, or who's talking to the night before, or
Yeah. No.
then it'd be a bit more interesting, because then we might find out.
Oh, he popped out of this existence.
Sorry, I was just grabbing my little drink.
Reuben popped out of
My little
existence for a second there. Go on.
I would just say, yeah. If the files do reveal something like that, that'd be great.
Yeah.
If not, then I guess it's just important to know like what happened, or some of the backstory, some of the history about it,
Yeah.
for historical reasons. But if there's something else unveiled, it might
Again, there's a lot we don't know. So
yeah. So
and there's probably a lot we won't know. We can just hope. Well, we can just look how things go from here. Probably there's going to be a hell of a lot more conspiracy theories out.
oh yeah, no,
Tell
I
you
think
that much.
I think the files, once the files are released, it's going to destroy some theories, but then it's going to like make some new theories.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. This is like one of the biggest mysteries of like the past century, Like it's very like it's stuff that you still learn about it today. Not just because it's an important piece of history, but because you can't find a definite answer for it. And they're making the kids think early about conspiracy theories. That's what they did at my
Kids think early. About
that's what they did at my secondary school.
What? Wait, tell you about conspiracy? Hold on. The context, that's important. What?
Kids first conspiracy theory.
we were taught about JFK in history, and they literally, I'm not even kidding, they posed so many conspiracy theories on what could have done, like what was done and stuff like that. That's just what I was taught in secondary school.
Indoctrinating children
Yeah.
with conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Welcome to the modern day education system, ladies and gentlemen.
My history teacher was like, it was me.
Whoa.
That would be a okay.
You just put your history teacher on a watch list.
Yes.
Again.
Yeah.
Nah,
Stop.
don't worry.
Stop.
Don't worry. I'm not IDing him.
Okay.
Right, have you found your story then, Nezar?
Yep.
What's it about? I'm trying to go through the list of music and I realize just how little of any of these songs I know. Again, like what?
Put something good on.
I'm trying to, but I don't know any of these songs.
Put a tune on.
Just put a random one on and hope it's good.
Oh, I don't.
Cross your fingers.
I found
Abadaher.
one that I know. Oh, hold on, that's some Leona Lewis song. Anyway, what's your story, Nezar?
I'm trying to find the exact quote, but basically, an NP joked about and trivialized sexual assault publicly by making a joke that wasn't appropriate for public.
Was this?
Oh, no.
I think I know. Was this like the former secretary of something? What's his name? What's that? Michael Gove.
Yes.
I hate that guy. I really don't like that guy. I will say it openly. I do not like Michael Gove.
May you explain to the audience why?
Good point.
We do need some kind of discussion.
Yeah,
so
we
please
need
do.
we need a bit of context
Before we get back to the sexual assault.
He's just so. He's just. He just really grinds my gears. Wait, was he the health secretary or was he the education secretary again? Which one was he? He was one or the other. I'm trying to remember because. I'm really trying to remember what he was again. I feel like he was the health secretary.
Just say former in the news article.
Yeah, former.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Go sparks outcry. No, nothing like that.
We have come to a standstill as we realise that we don't know who this is. I should know who Michael Gove is.
I mean, you're the politics student.
Hey.
I'm
Hey.
just saying.
Hey, you stop that. You stop that. I know I dislike him for a very.
I know I dislike him for some reason.
Yeah, no, he
You just can't think of it right now.
I can't remember why I dislike him. I just know that looking at his face makes me very, very mad.
Wow, poor man.
No.
His face makes me angry.
No. Have a look at a picture of him and tell me it doesn't make you angry.
Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a little look.
Hold on.
Let's have a look at this.
Was he the?
Okay.
He does look
oh,
like.
really?
Careful.
He does look like somebody that'd aggravate you.
Yeah, he was the education secretary from 2010 to 2014. Now, what does that mean? That means he was the education secretary when or around the time the whole sort of voting, the whole sort of £9,000 thing
Came into question.
Well, it was around 2010, 2000.
Oh, so wasn't it when the
2010ish, 2008ish, wasn't it? Well, no, it wasn't 2008.
Having to pay for university. Was
yeah,
it?
having to pay for university. He was sort of.
Oh boy.
Now you can see why.
Okay, now I have. Okay, now I have a
he grinds my gears.
legitimate reason not to be, not to be his biggest fan.
But he made so back to the news story at hand. He made a joke regarding Harvey Weinstein, wasn't it?
Yes,
and that's a completely different story. The whole Harvey. We're not going to go into that because that's.
Fair.
But he was on a radio show and he made a joke saying that being in this studio with the presenter, whoever that was a bit like walking into Harvey Weinstein's bedroom.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Go on, Reuben. What do you have to say to that?
I have nothing to say.
Really?
That joke is distasteful.
Distasteful to say
at
the
the
least.
very least.
Basically, the way he tried to bounce back by that was apologizing publicly.
Apologizing, but he also seemed to be when he actually said the joke, he was clapped for, like people were clapping for him and laughing at it with him. When you listen to the actual audio clip, it was a bit different. The reaction was different when he did it on the stage there.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine, because I imagine, like, everyone just did the initial reaction I did. I basically cringed really hard, audience. I cringed really hard.
The fact that he says that it's a clumsy attempt at humour, I doubt that remark was clumsy, but whatever. He said it wasn't appropriate. I'm sorry, and I apologise unreservedly.
Unreservedly.
He can't just talk like a normal person.
You could just say you're sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry for what I did.
But again, we are dealing with Michael Gove.
Yeah.
So.
I apologise. I am a robot.
Unreservedly.
So he used to be the Secretary for Education. Then he got a job at another company, a media company. Oh yeah, he works for the Times now. So he was a member of Parliament. He was Secretary of Justice for 2015 to 2016, Secretary of State for Education from 2010 to 2014. So that's just a bit more backstory about who this man is.
Yeah.
If you look up a picture of him, let us know what you think. Look at that. Look at this. Look at this face.
The man who...
Sorry to those who are listening on that I can't show you his face, but he looks so happy that he's caused misery for thousands of people.
That face could be used for a "you mad bro" meme.
That's a face.
That's a meme. That's a meme right there.
That's a face that says I'm not really sorry about the joke I made.
Yeah, exactly. That's a face that just says, you know what,
you mad bro.
You can't touch me.
You mad bro.
Exactly.
And I'm like, yes, quite so.
He really irks me on because every time he's been criticized, he just bounces it off like nothing's ever happened. Every time he says something, you can sense the fakeness. If you ever had like an artificial robot stand in front of you and talk to you, it's just that's Michael Gove to me.
Wow.
That's why I don't like him. There's no sense of honesty, care, or even thought put into anything he says.
No empathy either.
No empathy.
Sounds of it, yeah.
No, it really just sounds like a person who's achieved everything he's wanted to achieve, so he's like, you can't touch me.
Exactly. He basks in the pain of others.
So back onto the topic.
Back onto the topic, please.
The sexual harassment speech joke he made rather. Basically, this is an obvious one. What's your opinion on what he said, and should he have said it?
No.
He shouldn't have said it at all, no. That's just, why would you say that? It's not, I don't know.
Yeah.
When it's such a massive issue at the moment, the last thing you want to do is dance, ballet on the roof of the car. That is that problem.
Like, not only is it a sensitive subject, but to make a joke about it at this time when it's still quite...
fresh
in everyone's mind.
Yeah, I mean, even making a joke way after is still quite considered distasteful.
Yeah,
but to do it like only how long was it ago since the accusations?
Less than a month. It's within a month.
You can't do that. That's not on.
No,
that's
especially not for a public figure.
No, especially if you're in the public eye and making jokes like that, then that's even if you're not in the public eye, that's still a bad joke.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's some jokes are just in bad taste.
Yeah,
maybe you could expect it from someone like a comedian, but that's really reaching.
No, yeah, comedians wouldn't go that.
Yeah,
some comedians would.
Frankie Boyle would. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Frankie Boyle would. Yeah.
Frankie Boyle would.
Yeah.
Like, there's no going around that. Like, he doesn't care what he says.
I mean,
what he jokes about. He definitely would.
But the thing is, when it comes to a joke, you have to do it in a certain way for it to work. You can't just because I heard Gove's little statement that he made. His one just sounded so cringeworthy. It just sounded like unnecessary. It sounded like he was just adding fuel to the fire instead of actually building up a genuine joke.
Yeah. Jokes are about build up and timing.
He was just enjoying the whole, it's a current thing, let me just, make a little joke about it.
Exactly.
All right.
He just made a remark less than a joke, and it's like me and you were just talking normally, and then you make a remark about something that's just not appropriate. It's like, where's the joke in that?
Yeah.
So you'd say all the backlash he's getting is definitely justified?
Yes.
There's no two ways of looking at this.
Yes.
No, it's just...
Again, this might just be my bice towards a person called Michael Gove. But,
we all agree with this. It's just just posing the question out there.
it's untimely to make that kind of comment.
Yeah.
It really just was unnecessary.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Let me read a tweet that went out.
Cool.
Women being abused and raped is not a laughing matter, and it doesn't make us humorless to say so. Ouch.
It doesn't make us human. Was that him again?
No, that was a tweet to him.
Okay.
Because it's basically criticizing him for making such light of a situation.
Yeah,
like
it'd be
this.
really weird if he said that.
Yeah.
That isn't a joking matter. Why did I say it?
Yeah, it'd be considered a hypocrite if he did that. But no, yeah. I mean, with that one, I would say, yeah, it's right. It's right on the money, because making a joke of such matters is kind of like you have to lack empathy to be able to do something like that.
Yeah.
Or just be a decent person. If you wouldn't be a decent person if you made a joke like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. It comes
You calling
back.
Frankie Boyle an indecent person?
Frankie Boyle knows how to separate comedy from how he acts as a person.
A lot of people would question you about that.
From what I've seen of Frankie Boyle as a person, he seems like a very genuinely nice guy. This may be controversial to say, but he's like a lot of the stuff that he would joke about, like in terms of the stuff he's like. He watched like documentaries about like kids suffering in like other countries, and he claimed that that stuff gets to him, that stuff gets him really down. He gets out about that. There is a genuine nature to him. I just think he personally separates it from his comedy and who he is as a person. Coming back to the thing, there's a time and a place for that kind of stuff.
I mean,
it's not like he's going around the street just saying it.
Yeah, no. If he's making like, I guess like there are points where you could not jokes like this chap did.
Yeah.
Like definitely not
This
like,
chap did.
This chap. He's lost the right. I just forgot his name. I can't.
He's lost the right to be the right honourable Michael Gove. He's now this chap.
Have you seen his face? He's just a chap, man. He doesn't deserve his title.
He looks like
he's that. He's not that guy. He's that chap.
He's that chap.
He looks like the kind of guy that would go to Eton.
Oh.
I mean, he probably did go to Eton. I mean,
yes,
come on. Hello, excuse me.
I mean, yeah.
I'm just stating a fact.
Controversial.
Right, should we take a break?
Yes.
Sounds good.
We're going to take a bit of a break. We've got some tracks. I managed to find some songs. I managed to find like 2 that we might put on. So we'll put those on, and then we'll be back after the break to our second half of the show. So we'll see you then.
LCR.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So we just took a little bit of a break there. Hope you enjoyed the music. Hope it was good. It was the 2 tracks that I could find that I could recognize. So sorry for that. Again, I don't listen to a lot of music that comes out of this side of the world anymore.
Too mainstream.
You can say that, or you could just say I found a better music taste elsewhere in another country I like to call the good country of the rising sun.
The good old US of A.
No.
Wow, guys, you sound like hipsters, dude.
Radio music is trash.
I mean,
everyone knows that.
yeah.
Oh
true,
my,
yeah.
okay, you don't want to say.
I mean, shh, Nezar, you want me to say that?
Oh, come on, that's not controversial. That's music taste.
That's true. Okay, welcome to the second half of the show. So, as you've already seen, the second half of the show is where we're sort of more just chill. We talk about things that interest us in general. So, this is just us hanging out, having a good time. Do any of you guys want to bring up anything, or should I pop with
good. I know there's a list. I see the list. I'm like,
Okay.
whoa.
Yeah, let's just go over the topics.
Let's go over the topics. It sounds
Okay,
fun.
so I want to bring up Amazon has done something I would class as potentially ridiculous. This is only in America so far, but they have created something called the Amazon Key. Now with this, you get a webcam, and you get a numpad on your door. So what this is meant to do is that when you're not able to pick up a package because you have to sign for it or something, this person, if you buy a package on Amazon, this person they'll send like an Amazon operative to your house, who will then type in a code given to them by Amazon, and then they will drop the pack right inside your house, just inside your house, and then leave. So the webcam is there to ensure that this person doesn't do anything inside your house. That once they enter, that's it. That they can't do anything else. They can just enter, drop package, and book it. So I want to know your opinions on that, because obviously this to me sounds like the silliest thing you could ever done. Why would you let an unknown person into your room? Now the other side of that was that I was watching a YouTuber the other day who was talking about he can't wait to hear about all the sort of animals that, like, all the pets that run out of the door or bite down on this random stranger in their house. But okay, what are your opinions on Amazon Key?
It sounds like the worst idea ever.
In a growing trend of Amazon making a lot of bad ideas.
I mean, yeah, I think this is like the worst one, because it's just like all it takes is for a very smart hacker to hack Amazon. Hello microphone. It just got moved again. I keep moving. I'm too fidgety. That's my problem. But yeah, no. I would say that all it takes is one really good hacker, and it's game over. They can enter your house without having to force your lock. They could just hack into the system, get the code to enter your house, walk on in.
But the webcam will still be there.
Oh yeah, but you just wear a mask.
You could.
Like, just wear a mask, and then no one knows.
Pro hacking tips from Reuben.
No, but yeah, no. What I would say, instead of allowing the person to enter your house, just make a box, like a lockable box, which only the person could put the item into.
See that?
Or go pick up your package like a normal person.
Or go to an Amazon drop-off point if you can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, just
I
do a little bit of
don't
walking.
I don't want people in my home.
You don't want people in my-
Like, it's just, man, like that sounds like that could only go wrong.
Yeah, it's
Especially at first. Maybe eventually it'd be okay, but at first that's not going to work
and
at all
also
because it's new.
just weird. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Like, they can enter your house whenever they like.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, hey guys, I got your package. And it's like, I just find like there's a bit of an invasion of privacy, I would say.
No, yeah, I agree.
It's unnecessary.
It's really
honestly
unnecessary.
not necessary. Take the time out of your day to go pick up your package. Is what I feel.
Either A, you pick up your packages, or B, you there's like two ways of doing, because obviously they're going to use their drones, and whether you're a pro or against the drones is unrelated at this point in time. I'm not going to put my opinion about it, but I would say the drones, you could just have a designated area for it to land outside your house, or the other idea is just have a lock with safe box. So if you're an Amazon Prime member, or you're a specialist member, whatever you want, you can have this box where it's lockable and only the person from Amazon can access it and put your box in, close it up, and then it's safe in your box.
Okay, that sounds like
and it's outside your house, so instead of it going inside your house and invading your privacy, it's just a case of I'll put it in this box and you can pick it up whenever you want.
That sounds reasonable, apart from
the
the aspect that people could then fidget with the box to try and get whatever's inside it open.
Yeah, but
that's true.
But it's a risk, but it's not your house.
It's not your house, at least.
It's not your house, it's just your package.
What I've realised is some criminal could just wait for an Amazon person to come up to your house, knock the Amazon person unconscious, and then rob your house.
Exactly.
That's
or even a rogue Amazon delivery person just can go
rogue Amazon delivery person.
Like, you can take the technology.
I'm getting fired next week anyway. Might as well rob this house.
Or you'll see the job applicants for Amazon rise really sharply, and then all of a sudden you see all of them decrease again as people start robbing houses with them.
Yeah.
Oh, and imagine places like certain hacker groups would find it absolutely amazing, because they would just go in to the house. Like, obviously they could just adopt a technology, find a way to bypass all your security systems, and Bob's your uncle. You can go in the house and just steal everything without having to force a lock, without having to mess around with anything.
We are major cynics. We are such cynics about
I just don't. It's just
a bad idea.
Yeah,
it is a bad
idea.
Really bad
And
idea.
it's also Amazon. And even though I myself have an Amazon Prime, it's very convenient. We're not sponsored by Amazon. We were just racking on them for the past few minutes.
No, but
Here's my thing. it's like it's the start of what I feel like Amazon like wants to control everything.
Wants to be the leaders of the world.
Pretty much. There's gonna be
yeah.
a day when there's no competition and Amazon's just there at the top. Like, yep, now we.
Like I've seen the grocery store.
Yeah.
Like
exactly. Why do Amazon need a grocery store?
Yeah, no, it's a really clever idea, and for those who are, I would say, not socially inclined.
Yeah.
Those who aren't willing to, talk to, like, people who go at the self-checkouts because they don't like talking to people.
You mean me?
I didn't know that, but okay, people like Fritz. I would say that they would find the Amazon store a delightful treat.
So it helps with people who suffer from social anxiety and don't necessarily want to deal with.
Yeah, because all you would have to do is
swipe in, grab
whatever you want,
need,
just put it in your bag,
and then leave and swipe out, and then it charges your account automatically.
And then this is another thing. They also talk, the drones.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard about their idea of making a big airship?
A big airship?
Yeah, for the drones, because obviously in terms of instead of lifting it from a warehouse and going up, that uses a battery. But if you have a drone that flies in the air, housed in this big airship, and it flies in a straight line, uses less battery.
My boy, what are we talking? Are we talking Hindenburg airship or like Super Mario Odyssey airship here? Like, what are we talking here?
Well, it's a warehouse in the sky.
A warehouse, and this is only gonna go wrong.
That sounds
terrible.
It does,
this is not a Mario game. Stop it.
No, Amazon. No, here, look. Amazon can't just be doing things just to be different.
I know.
You don't need to be different.
No,
you're
you
Amazon.
don't.
You're already one of the top.
Yeah,
like,
you're already doing well.
You're already doing well. Let's just have a market in the sky. That's going to be easy to be
let's have a.
It better come with a landing strip so we can land planes on it. Hey, you want to go shopping while you're flying in the air? Amazon Prime.
There's a landing strip for the drones.
Well,
that's landing areas. So you could go. The drones go in.
Yeah.
They find the parcel they want, and then they pick it up and then they take it to the house.
This is ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
No,
do you know how many like different sort of like departments they have to establish up in the air? It's going to mess with airline spaces.
Yeah.
All around.
Yeah.
Imagine taking off from an airport in Detroit or something, and then next thing Amazon massive warehouse right next to you.
No, here's the worst thing.
This is your captain speaking. We're having a bit of an issue because there's a massive warehouse in the way. We can't take off.
Sponsored by Amazon.
That's true as well. Amazon. Oh my god, I don't get the idea of that. We shouldn't be doing anything to be putting stuff in the sky.
See, here's also the worst idea. If, for instance, something happens to that airship, and it crashes to the ground.
Like the Hindenburg.
Imagine all the loot you could get. There's PS4s, PCs, laptops. It's just like opportunists.
Well, now that you
amazing
mention
dream.
it.
Now that you've mentioned it.
Now I think that's actually a great idea. I hope they invest in
my
these,
boy, you better hook us up. Do this. Do it right now.
No, I'm just saying, like, if anything was to go wrong,
then we'd be on that case real quick.
It's just like Amazon has lost a lot of products.
I mean, it's basically them setting themselves up for that.
Yeah, it's setting them. Like, I bet someone is actually going to go out their way to bring down one of these people, and people are going to get hurt with this as well. Because if it crashes, that's first of all, general populace is in danger because they can get injured. They can, there's people who could get generally
hurt,
death, hurt.
Metal Gear. Yeah, go on.
And secondly, of Amazon themselves, they're going to have a huge loss because first of all, they're going to have to pay all these people for compensation. They're going to get sued, and then all the products they stored in these warehouses are just going to get nicked.
They must geotag the products though. They're probably going to geotag them.
So if you do, box.
So if you take the
take them out the box.
True.
You just take them out remove all trackers and just be very quick about it and then run off with it.
Reuben advocating how to steal from Amazon 2017.
I'm telling Amazon, don't invest in this because this is a bad idea.
Don't invest in this or we'll rob you is what you're saying.
No, I'm not going to rob them. I'm a citizen who just wants what's best for the people. I don't want them getting injured. And I'm also saying to Amazon, this is a bad idea.
It is a bad idea.
This is a bad idea.
I agree 100%.
It's not a good idea.
So back to the Amazon key before we go all, super unrealistically, build massive towers in the sky.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Okay, anyway,
back to the Amazon key. Would you... so you said you don't like it, but would you have one in your house if you could?
Absolutely no.
No.
Never.
We just said we just
say it's a dumb idea, but Nezar over here's got Amazon Prime, so he's eligible for this if he lived in America.
Yeah, but Amazon Prime is just convenient. Like, that's same day, next day delivery. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. That's awesome. next day delivery to your home while you're away. I don't know if I'm going to be okay with that.
Oh no, like even like for those who like maybe necessarily like want to get their stuff delivered but they're away, do like a good idea is also like leaving your own like a hidden box and tell them to look for the hidden box. Like when you're in delivery instructions,
Yep.
you can actually define these and say, oh, put it in the red box.
Cool.
And then you could put in this red box, and then they don't have to go in your house.
Yeah.
Simple.
They don't have to go in your house. You don't know.
I think I'm just going to stick with the old-fashioned way of either,
Same.
you know,
Yeah,
just
Amazon.
walking to it, or, you know, oh, you're not in, we'll give it to the neighbour until you're back.
Yeah.
That's
fair, yeah.
That's what we do.
Let
That's
them-
what we do
let-
around these parts.
Let them go into the neighbour's house instead.
Yeah, don't go into my house, go into my neighbour's.
I have my Amazon key set up on my neighbour's house. You know, go in there, you know, drop the package of there. Also, while you're at it, why don't you grab that nice shiny PS4 that he's got there and pass it over?
Oh dear.
Anyway, moving on from that. So we've established one ridiculous thing today. The other topic that we were going to bring up is, and this is a bit of a more of a serious note. So I heard about this a few weeks ago, but this is a story that probably isn't in the same country. A HIV positive man has been given 24 years in prison for spreading HIV to 30 different women. And yeah, it's just messed up. But so what this relates to was that a few weeks ago I heard, I don't remember if this was in America or California or somewhere, but they were going to change the laws around what it was to spread to spread HIV to another person. They were going to change it from a criminal offense to something less of that. Something like, I don't remember exactly the key terms that were used, but something less where you couldn't be given a sentence as such, you know, a very serious sentence. And I want to know what are your opinions on this person? Like, if you want a name to it, his name is, I'll just give him a surname, Taluto. He probably seems Italian. But what do you think of this story?
I believe that once you, like with stuff like this, I believe that once you're aware you have this disease, I think I mean, this is a bit probably like more of a, this is probably going to be a controversial opinion, but I would say be put on a watch list. Well, when I say watch list, I mean like a public information list. Like this person, like
That's even worse than a watch list.
No,
No. I can see where he's coming
I'm
from.
saying in terms of safety.
Yeah.
You should be required to
Disclose that you have this condition.
You should be, if you want to, do those things, you should. And you do have that condition, you have to tell others about it.
You have to disclose, yeah.
It has to be disclosed
If
legally.
they are
If
then
you do it,
okay with it, then that's fine, because that's their fault.
Or choice.
Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly. That's my opinion on the
What in
matter.
cases where it's not known that the person has HIV?
Sorry?
Well, of course, that the person that has HIV is. There's no two ways about it. They're in the wrong.
Well, what if they don't know? Like, what if they got
what
it
if
from?
they don't?
Yeah. What if they just got? What if they were one of the women that just got it from a man and decided to have another partner?
That's different because that's like.
If you're unaware, then that's
Well, let's just in general, you should be having like
Tests.
regular
tests
checkups,
and being protected whilst But I don't know how much. I guess in this day and age, it still is your fault, isn't it? Because you're warned about all these kind of things.
Yeah, and I would say if the person didn't, like, obviously beforehand, the person should take the time to at least, ask the question, like, is there anything you need to tell me beforehand?
Yeah.
And then if they say that, then the person liable is the person who is the person, giving the disease over.
Because this isn't a joking matter. That's something that can ruin someone's life. You gotta, you gotta be safe with this kind of thing, and that means, yes, you should be doing regular tests, and if somebody asks you to do a test, you should do it, and don't get offended, because if you're getting offended by that, then you've clearly got something to hide, and that's just not good. And you're putting other people's, you're harming other people while doing it, and that's just not okay. So to answer your question, are they at fault even if they don't know? I'd say yes, because you should be getting tested regularly anyway.
Okay. You agree with that, Reuben?
Yeah, I agree with that, yeah.
Right.
It's in this day and age, there's no excuse for that kind of thing. Maybe in like the 60s you can get away with that kind of thing, but STIs are an increasing... I don't know if they're increasing necessarily, but they're becoming more public. You know what I mean? They probably were around all that time, but they just didn't know what it was, or it didn't become more public. But now, definitely, when it's more public and we live in a society where, you know, getting STIs, it's easy. So that's why you should be taking every precaution to try and avoid that kind of thing. So yes, if you're the one passing it, it is your fault, I would say. I'd say it's also the fault of people that unless you flat out lie to him, but...
Yeah.
You know,
I believe
it's a great era.
Both parties need to be communicating properly.
Yeah,
I would say that the I don't know how to describe people in this situation. The person who doesn't have HIV should ask.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
they definitely should be asking. They should definitely be asking.
Say something like, you know, go get yourself tested, and I'll go get myself tested
exactly,
too.
yeah. And if anything happens, then, you know.
But that also brings
they'll be aware.
This also brings up something. Let me ask you guys a question. What about the whole argument is, what if you love that person, then what?
What if you love that person in regards to what?
Like, they have that STI and you want to, you know, be romantically, you know, involved, but you love that person, but they have an STI, then what's the scenario like? What do you do then?
Well, you use all the protection you can to ensure you don't get that.
Yeah, you try and mitigate all the risks.
Yeah,
that's fine. Yeah, I was just putting the question out.
Would you then disagree with, I don't remember what state it was, I believe it was California. Do you then disagree with the statement to make it like a minor offense? Or do you think it should remain a serious offense?
I mean,
an offense?
Or like a serious crime?
I would say, when it comes to disclosing information, possibly. No, I wouldn't.
The thing is, it's both parties' faults. It's not just the fault of the person
to say it's a criminal
it.
offence is, you know.
You can't just take somebody's word for it that they're okay. They might not know.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
So like it is, what you need to do is just I would say I would say like maybe a lesser offence, but at the same time, if it has been made if the person is fully aware and has been made known by their doctor that they have this,
but is still choosing to lie to their partner,
and it's still then you can go criminal.
Yeah, because you can easily prove that stuff. We can just go, we can just check up your last checkup at the doctor or something like that.
Okay.
But then you have to also bear in mind that in America it's also health insurance and stuff, and unlike Britain, which has
even for checkups. Like for,
I think you have to pay to get. You have
to pay for checkups.
That's ridiculous. Like,
it does make things harder for themselves.
Okay, okay, fine. But in England, there's definitely no excuse.
In England, there's no excuse. Yeah,
you should be doing. Really, you should be doing regular checkups, even not for STI, just in general. Just, I know that maybe we don't, but it's advised that you should anyway.
Yeah, I know it is,
I found it really strange that people don't do lots of checkups, that you don't do regular checkups here. I've heard people that just, like, you know, they get checked once and then carry on living 5 years and keep on going, and it's like,
that's how a lot of people don't get, like, the early stages of, like, cancer and stuff in it, because they don't know that they've actually got it, because they don't check up regularly.
Well, you're right then, Nezar.
Yeah, I'm fine.
He's trying to steal a cheeky sweet.
Okay. Right, so let's move it on to something that Nezar really wants to discuss. I'm guessing most people probably know about this. The Apple, one of my least favorite companies in the universe, have decided or are releasing 2 brand nouveau products to the society and the world. And they are called the iPhone 8. Yes. And, of course, Apple don't know how to count to 9, so they skipped it and went straight to X.
Well, I was scared of 7. Because 7, 8, oh wait, can't say that.
Trademarked joke. Copyright infringement.
Oh, no.
Now
so go on, tell me your opinions, because obviously, y'all know I ain't about that Apple.
Go buy Apple.
I ain't about that Apple shenanigans.
I mean,
I'll be the one.
Oh yeah, we've got a pro Apple.
I'm pro Apple to some regard. I myself have the iPhone 6s. And
how do you know? It just looks like an iPhone 5.
That's my point. That's what I'm getting to.
There's no difference.
I bought this
with your own money.
No, I didn't buy it with my own money. It was good. Okay, I didn't buy it, but I have it. That's the thing. And honestly, Apple, it's one of two things. They tend not to change their products at all, really. Hear me
in
out.
regards to the audio jack. We'll come to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. Hear me out. So, yes, this is probably going to last me... If I kept this phone for like another 5 years and Apple kept on releasing new iPhones and stuff like that, I'd be like, well, I'm fine with this. I'm okay with that kind of thing. And that's what Apple... The problem with Apple is that they just need to release stuff. They just need to get it out there. It doesn't matter.
Bro, even with that, Apple... Like the shady shenanigans that they do is that if you have a phone, so for example you have a 6S, and they keep releasing new iOS updates and new things like that, eventually they just drop your phone, and you have to. They genuinely want to force you to buy a new one, or from what a lot of people have said, they tend to slow down your phones. Like you slow down whenever you get a new update, they tend to slow down your older version phone, so I'd be more willing to buy a new one.
Yeah, because that's it's a tactic. It's a business tactic. It means you have to keep buying.
It's a very smart business tactic because it works. We might not like Apple, but it works. That's the problem, isn't it?
Well, I mean, once people really do catch on to it, they're just gonna, stop.
But that's the thing. Are people gonna catch on to it?
I mean,
people have caught on to it, and they keep buying it anyway.
Yeah,
they keep doing it anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like I would say that, once people realize, just grow out of it. Because I say, with HT, like I'm a HTC guy. Oh. Android.
Nice.
Android fan. Oi. Android.
Hey.
I was Android 2 before 2 years ago.
This. I mean, lots of people like Apple for its usability.
It is simplistic.
It is simplistic.
Good
I will give them that.
Good hardware too. Really? Are we doing this?
No comment.
I plead the fifth. And
we'll disagree on that one.
Let me know how that bendy phone goes.
Maybe they have better. Well, when I say better hardware, they don't have an audio jack.
They have good hardware, not necessarily better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying about the newest.
They don't have audio jacks.
I'm not defending the newest ones.
Okay, yeah.
Back on point. iPhone X and iPhone 8. Discuss.
iPhone 8 is the same thing as before, so not much to discuss there. What is the iPhone X? Because that is their most experimental thing they've done, for all the wrong reasons.
Is it just a screen?
The emoji simulator.
Oh, kick me.
That's what it is. It really is, isn't it?
Yeah. Is it that why they're charging £1,000 for it? Because it has animal emoji? Are you serious?
I know. There probably is more to it than meets the eye. There has to be.
Honestly, it's kind of ridiculous.
I mean, that's the joke.
There better be more to it than meets the eye. You better have Optimus Prime in there if you're going to spend £1,000 on it. I swear to goodness.
Honestly, you guys are being ignorant if you...
Must be used for the space travel.
Honestly, guys, you're being ignorant if you wouldn't buy an emoji machine for $1,000. That's ridiculous.
Are you mad?
That's ridiculous of both.
Are you insane?
Okay, hang on.
Chronologically insane.
I'm gonna
spend £1,000 on a phone that can. So what if it animates emojis? If you want animated emojis, go watch the Emoji Movie. Actually, no, don't go watch that movie. Buy the. No, don't buy it. Just don't watch the Emoji Movie. But
hang on. It's got some other stuff.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Hang on. It's got Mac rumors.
What on earth is that?
It's rumors. Mac rumors. News and rumors about rumors you care about. Rumors and. News and rumors.
Okay,
news and rumors you care
about.
On
any other phone, you can get news, but here we've got rumors.
Are you being serious?
Okay, so it has facial recognition. We already had that, didn't we?
That's one of the worst things
3D
ever.
camera.
Whoa!
Glass body.
What?
Why is that a good thing?
No, it means it has a better smashing rate when you drop it.
I see. It's really
improvement.
Easy to break.
A 1-to-1 smash rate.
Way better.
Yeah, you can see the pieces of your £1,000 on the ground clearly shattered.
Hello. Oh, hang on. An AR. What's it? AR. 11?
Augmented reality.
Oh no, A11 bionic processor.
Why? What?
It sounds fancy.
Sounds futuristic.
Wait, is that the finger scanner thing? Because that's another terrible idea.
Pre-orders are available now. Launch within Friday, November 3rd.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I already pre-ordered 3.
No home button.
Nice. That's my favorite feature.
That's a feature. No home button.
Why?
I'm so...
Okay, no, here's the features. So, 5.8 OLED display. faster A11 bionic processor, a glass body, edge-to-edge display, facial recognition, no home button.
No home button.
No home button.
That
no.
is, you know what? I was.
Hold up, not done yet. Wireless inductive charging.
Key charging.
And an emoji.
You know
right,
what?
that's it. We're done.
You know
okay,
what?
thanks for
I
listening.
was-
We're out of here. I'm actually done.
I was cynical on Apple before this, but I think that really convinced me.
Oh,
Thank you, Reuben.
I can't believe it.
You're welcome, my friend.
I cannot believe it.
No home button. I thought they meant to make it more convenient.
I can't. I'm trying to imagine all the
You
grandparents.
don't have to go home.
What are you doing? I'm trying to. It seems like you're scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Again. No, I'm trying to get to the main menu. Where's the home button?
I'm trying to imagine all the grandparents that are going to buy this phone because they want to be up there with their kids or whatever,
No.
and they're going to be like. They're gonna phone up their kid and be like, "How do I get to the home button?" It's just like there isn't one. Well, how do I get home? You live in a home. You live in a home.
Live in a home.
This is why we
That's
put you in the home,
Oh
Dad.
my gosh.
Oh, oy vey! Why do you do this to me, son? I loved you. I bought this iPhone X just for you.
Oh God, no.
Ouch. Okay.
If there was ever a thing, apart from all the other shady shenanigans that Apple does, even the products, no. And you know what the sad thing is? My mum is probably gonna buy one.
Oh no.
My
My condolences.
My parents definitely won't. They're smarter than that.
Although I'll have to sit my mum down and be like, "Mum, no, genuinely, look
Don't
at this
do it.
phone. Don't do it. Don't.
Stop.
Please don't. Stop."
No,
But it's the iPhone X.
I don't care if it could be the iPhone
it's
1009.
the future.
Okay, let's do a bit of role play. I'll be your mum.
Oh my god.
Fritz!
This is not a roleplay
There's
show.
an iPhone X. It's
Yeah,
really
you're-
good.
no.
Convince me why I shouldn't buy
Nezar-
it.
No, Mum, you're not doing it. Stop.
No,
Stop.
but it's the iPhone X.
Mum, you're not spending
There's
10,000.
No hope, but I like the poo emoji. It's funny.
Excuse me?
It's funny.
The animations are so lifelike.
With two people now.
Oh my god. No. Okay, we're stopping there.
Hurt my-
That's not stopping there as in the radio. I'm just saying we're not going to do this
I
scenario
hurt
anymore.
myself today.
Oy vey!
I can't believe it. The company that's meant to be pushing technological innovation through the roof,
They're
the
not-
Silicon Valley of
no.
Silicon, Apple and Google are meant to be the tech innovators
They
of the
claim
universe.
themselves to
They
be,
claim
but it's like, how do we advance our profits? Get rid of the home button. Get rid of the audio jack. You're saving money.
I
And guess
I
what?
got a question for you guys.
we'll still make more than the GDP of Bulgaria because why not?
I've got a question for you guys.
Go
Has
on.
this been happening is this been happening since pre-Steve Jobs or post-Steve Jobs?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I'm not even-
Genuinely, do you think that Steve Jobs was maybe pushing Apple to be better, and now that he's gone, they're doing this more, or it's been happening since Jobs
I think
was alive?
after Steve Jobs, sadly passed away, I think Apple's been getting more pompous.
You think?
Yeah, definitely more pompous.
You don't think they've been pompous since?
I
Steve Jobs was
they
still
were pompous
mean-
then, but they backed it up with actual good. You could see the development,
Well,
you
I
could
mean-
see the speed, you could see the innovation, you could see things changing. Now I look at it, and it's just like it's the same phone. You just added a processor to it that's make it slightly faster.
What I would say, sorry,
Go on.
to interrupt, but to say that they were before, I would disagree with that. I would say beforehand, I wouldn't say Steve Jobs was pompous, or I wouldn't say that was all about profit, but the fact that most of their products were $1,000 or £1,000, and they're just basic Mac stuff. Not if you compare it to Microsoft. I'm not gonna go into the whole debate about what's better. Mac's better than.
PC.
All type man,
PC.
he's got a pompy.
I mean, it's up to you. Whatever you like.
Do we
That's-
argue? Does anyone actually argue for Mac? That's an interesting.
There is a group that do argue for it. I'm not going to go into it because there's no
They're
point.
called masochists.
But here's the thing: you
Whoa.
can buy top of the range PCs, gaming PCs. This is for playing video games. This is for high end graphics rendering, high end processors, for 1,000. For 1,000, a bit over, 1,200. With Mac, it's just a Mac laptop which is this thin, but can do only these things and is limited to this software.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I don't see Apple as any credibility in terms of, especially the computer market. They don't
Yeah, the
even
computer market there. Some would disagree with me because I know a few people who would disagree with me on this, but I would disagree with the pricing. And I do think they were, from day one, they were trying to get as much money as they were.
See, I can at least see some appeal in their phone market, but in terms of the computer market, that's a lost cause.
I would say, personally, that's a lost cause.
Any other topics to go on to?
Oh yeah, I have other topics. I'm still trying to get over this whole iPhone X thing. I'm trying to like.
We're talking about a lot of is the main theme of this corrupt companies. We got Amazon, then we got Apple. Any other bad companies?
Well, you know what I've realized is we've mostly been talking about companies that we've been disliking. Let's bring in a company that I actually like, despite their sort of their slightly nonchalant nonsense. Let's bring up Nintendo. And let's bring up the one game that they're releasing, or the big game that they're releasing this week, Super Mario Odyssey. What do you think about that? Nezar is like, what's up there, Nezar? How you doing?
Tired.
Nothing, I just...
Did Nintendo break you?
Nintendo. I'm a big Nintendo fan myself. I don't have a Switch at the moment, but hopefully I'll be getting one relatively soon. Mario Odyssey is a game I'm looking very forward to, just because... it's been, if we're talking maybe Galaxy 1, it's been like 10 years since a true like new 3D one.
Mm-hmm.
They're bringing innovation back into the series. They're breathing fresh air into a series that has been for more or less kind of stale the last few years.
Actually, hold on. Let me actually bring something in here, because this is a wider topic. So this is going to be more of like a gaming sort of topic. But we've had EA say, EA sort of changing their focus, which is Electronic Arts. They made I don't even remember what did EA? They make like Battlefield, Battlefront,
any sports game you can
FIFA,
all sports games.
Yeah, so FIFA and what? Oh,
they also did like Dragon Age. Mass Effect.
They're companies, but they're owned more by BioWare.
So
they own BioWare.
Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make is that EA is switching the way that they do things. They no longer want to focus on single player stories. They want to switch it up more to sort of games as a service, where multiple people can play online, where they can put microtransactions in, where they can make where they can like sort of, it's a service basically. And what we've seen is they shut down a studio recently that was known for making single player experiences. I want to pose the question to you, like, just because we have Mario Odyssey being released, which is going to be, already looks amazing, sounds amazing by the place of it, single player experience. What are your opinions on single player versus multiplayer, like the future of gaming here? Because I'm someone who would advocate a lot. I genuinely realized that. So this is coming from a personal standpoint. When I bought the PS4, I realized I didn't want to play a lot of the games on the PS4. Because first of all, a lot of them are online only, and as someone who I don't like always having to depend on an internet connection. I like playing a game. If I'm traveling to Africa, where am I going to get that internet connection from? There is internet in Africa. For those who don't think there's internet and connection in Africa, I will find you. But there is internet connection in Africa, but I can't just take a PS4 there and go play and be always online. I can't just do that. And I found out that a lot of the games have companies that either force microtransactions into them, or that use microtransactions in them. Like me personally, I stopped supporting EA. I stopped supporting Activision. Ubisoft on the borderline of not supporting anymore. But when I look at Nintendo, I see a bunch of games that I want to play. Not just even for myself, but I know my friends will like them. I know my family would love them. And that's really important to me when it comes to video games. If I can sit down with my mum and play Super Mario Odyssey for a good 5 hours and have a good time. I couldn't do that with any other game, because first of all, the grind is real, it's online only, and there's just no fun. It's more like a chore that you're doing. You're getting some enjoyment out of it, but it feels more like a grinding chore rather than a game you're playing for.
Yes, I'd agree with that.
What is your opinions on it?
Well, personally, multiplayer becoming more prominent in the last 7-8 years in general. I see it as more like a change in the times, I guess, because multiplayer is marketable. That's the thing. Multiplayer that's gonna sell regardless. I feel like it's harder to sell a great single player game than it is to sell a mediocre multiplayer game, because that's what people want. People want, I guess, the grind. People want to feel the struggle forever, I guess.
Or the achievement of like actually succeeding in one of your one of these missions and stuff.
Yeah, but it needs to be balanced,
Yeah.
though. That's the thing. What companies have done now is they've made the grind so a part of the video game.
Yeah.
If you look at a game like Destiny 2, the grind is so real.
No,
You could pay for it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem, and this is I might rant about this now. Video games in general are changing. Whether you think it's for the worse or not, I don't know. I think for me personally, 2017 has been one of my personal favorite years for video games, particularly on the PS4. Now that you mention it, there was a lot of great games that came out this year, but at the same time, a lot of those were first party titles. When you're talking about the third party industry, a lot of people just want to make like just multiplayer games with like no effort, and like a lot of them are lazy. There's no design. It's hard to say because video games are sold to be marketed, but there's also, it's maybe hard to believe, but a lot of people want to make video games because they like making video games, and a lot of people want to put a game out there to show an experience. But stuff like Destiny 2, it seems so manufactured and fake that you're just like, no. And the fact that stuff like microtransactions is becoming more prominent, or like games released early with like paid content walls that you can't like see the true ending or something like that. It's so ridiculous. In 20 years time, kids are not gonna know like what a video game is without DLC, for example, or some paid content, and that's gonna be it's gonna be really miserable when we get to that point.
It disappoints me because video gaming. Okay, so again, sorry to all the people who sort of like tuned out because we're talking about video games. Maybe it's not something that you're interested in, or something that doesn't attune to your ideas or thoughts. But sorry. Again, it's sad to see what's happening to video gaming. I know it's marketable, but even back in the 90s when it was marketable, you got a sense of enjoyment and satisfaction out of playing video games. Even in the 2000s, there was still an enjoyment of playing video games, and when you were playing it online as well, there was still an enjoyment. But what you just see now is just
the same thing.
But it's so much more empty.
Yeah. Yeah, I
and
agree.
the budgets are blowing up. They're spending millions of millions in making these games, but there's just no enjoyment to them. If I could give an example, so we all know GTA 5, right?
Yeah.
GTA 5. Now Rockstar launched a completely separate thing called GTA Online, which is GTA 5 Online.
Yes.
I played the story, and then I didn't feel the need to play online anymore. There was nothing for me there. It wasn't fun because people were constantly shooting you. Or there wasn't anything. And then Rockstar started putting in more stuff. But all of this stuff is stuff you need to either grind for or pay for. And if you want something that reflects just how empty it feels, take a look at GTA 5 Online and how that's become.
I think game companies have mixed up giving content and like making a game a decent length and just stretching out for the sake of padding just to get your money's worth kind of thing. You can advertise, there's hundreds of hours of gameplay in there, but I don't want to play that if only 5 of those 100 hours is fun and I'm grinding for the other 95 hours. That's ridiculous. Focus on making a good game first, not but I mean, that's the problem though. The stuff that we're talking about kind of only appeals, I would say, to a very small part of the gaming audience. I think a lot of people really love this stuff, and that's why it's becoming more prominent, and that's why it sells really well. We can talk about how Destiny 2 is awful, but it sold. I mean, did it sell really well?
It's the
really
most
well.
popular, it's most largest sold game of the year.
And Bungie, who at one point made Halo, which is one of my personal favorite first-person shooters of all time, they're not going to go back to any old formula like that. They're going to see Destiny. That sold well. Why should we bother doing just do the same thing as before? It sells well. That's my thing. Yeah, it's weird because the gaming industry is made up of people who want to genuinely make a great game and give players good experiences, and then there's the other part, which I'd say is a majority of, we got to market this, we got to get this out there, we need to make money off this.
What I'm thinking, Reuben, I'll let you enter in a bit. What I'm thinking is probably going to happen is we're going to witness a minor crash of AAA. AAA, sort of the big budget, all of those sort of things. Like, we're going to witness a crash in some regards in that market, whereas the indie market will then pick up, or the smaller developers market might pick up.
How so?
Because I feel like a lot of people, while their games do sell well, while their games are so well, I feel like a lot of people are feeling like they're starting to drop these games a lot quicker off. They're starting to like not play them as long. The retention time isn't as long, and you start to realize that these games are feeling more vapid and more, you know, empty. But as time goes on, you know, I think people. Well, this is just what I personally think. I think people might start moving on to sort of indies that have more. You can see the sort of a passion put into the project, a development, and all of that sort of put it into the project that might be a lot more fun, or a lot more supportive, a lot more engaging compared to what AAA develops. AAA feels so disconnected from you.
But does that appeal to the casual audience, though?
That's my problem, because I think that those who aren't really passionate about it, those who just want to play a video game, will buy a AAA game because they don't care. But those who are on the passionate side of things, those who are constantly standing up and fighting for what they agree with or what they don't, there will potentially be a minor. That's what I'm saying. It's a minor AAA crash, not a major one. They'll still sell games, but they'll lose a lot of sort of core, not core, but like a lot of, well, let's say core and casual. So they'll lose a lot of core, but they'll gain a lot of casual, is what I say. Reuben, what do you want to say?
I would say that in terms of who's going to do well, I think both parties are in danger.
Okay, why?
I say that
interesting.
because I say AAA, as for the reasons I mentioned before. Yes, there's a lot of paywalls. Yes, there's a lot of microtransactions. Yes, there's a lot of casual players and stuff. But I think the indie market's in danger due to the fact of a lot of them are suckers for the what's it called?
Kickstarter?
The Kickstarter early access kind of way of doing things. So what a lot of for people who are unaware, there's a platform called Steam. And it's a PC platform for those who have PCs, and they download PC games from it. And one of the new features is called Early Access. Now, this means that a company may not have completed their game, but they can release their game way earlier, but charge a reduced. But they do charge. They charge a fee for it, and it will be cheaper. It will be cheaper than the final price, or depending if you're going free to play, then it can be like a charge for, you know, supporting the company, but you get access to the game. A lot of indie companies do that because indie companies don't have the same kind of funds that AAA people do. And so what happens is that these companies have these really great ideas, these really expansive ideas. They start early access to this game or beta, and you have to charge and you have to pay for it. And people play on it for a while, but then the company starts losing interest and they get another idea, and so this game you were interested in never gets updated forever. It's over. All those 48 features you were meant to have, you only have 2 or 3. And so I feel like a lot of indie companies are gonna ride the wagon on this one, the bandwagon on this one, and they're gonna take this and they're gonna eventually damage the indie name so badly that a lot of people just won't bother with it. Because there's people who go from indie to AAA because AAA is trustworthy, it's dependable, unless it's EA, unless it's EA and your name is Mass Effect Andromeda, but
BioWare Run.
But there are some good AAA games and there's some really great indie games, but there are in both fields really bad games and really bad things that happen to these games. Like if you look at Injustice, there's microtransactions in that and crates and stuff like that, and the whole bad things. In terms of animation, in terms of game development, it's actually really good.
Very good game.
The graphics are great. The gameplay is solid. Oh yes, it's played by microtransactions, but it's not critical. You can play. You don't have to actually do it. It's more cosmetic.
That is true. Yes, I agree with that.
However, I would say that in terms of, and in the indie games, you also have stuff like Minecraft or like
Minecraft,
Dead by Daylight. That's a good game.
You're just listing all games now.
Yeah, I'm basically listing all games, but there's also other games that are bad, like Battlefront or like Battlefield. Or then if you have the indie side, you have what is it?
PlayerUnknown's Battleground.
I mean, that's pretty bad, but there are worse. There are games that are done by really small, like an individual, and they're basically assets from Unity.
Oh, we know what you.
Yeah. There's that kind of badness to it, and a lot of people pay out for this stuff, and you get ripped off.
Yeah, I don't see. I agree 100% with that. I don't see positive things happening to the gaming industry anytime soon.
Yeah. What if they are, in order to survive, they have to really get rid of these concepts. They have to get rid of early access, and they have to get rid of microtransactions. And if they do that, And also, like,
Hold on. One thing. Okay, so you say get rid of microtransactions. Let me pose the question to you. Would you rather a game was, so let's take Star Wars Battlefront 2. Would you rather it was free to play but with microtransactions, or would you rather £60 price tag, no microtransactions?
I'd rather pay a $60 game and get no microtransactions.
That's just how games should be.
Okay.
That's the thing. You buy it, you expect all the content that they give you, and that's that. That's
paying it
end.
for anything else. I mean, DLC
That's
was
the
DLC.
thing.
No, DLC was free. DLC used to be free, like map packs and stuff. That was fine.
If it's free, or even to be honest, if it's not, DLC is extra content.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that being priced.
Yeah, because it's not in the game already.
Yeah.
It's when you put a paywall in front of something that's already built into the game.
Yeah.
That's when you start.
Yeah, DLC to me
mistakes.
is 100% fine under the right circumstances, that we're not taking out content from an already made game where, okay, the game's been out for a month, 2 months now, why don't we just make more stuff for you? No, keep it fresh. With multiplayer games, you kind of have to do that to keep the player base. Obviously not for something like Call of Duty is going to last for ages. To be fair, people were playing Modern Warfare 2 3 games later, and that's
just because it's a good game, though. Look, guess how many people are still playing Infinite Warfare now compared to
that's true. That's true. I guess the quality of the game is definitely up for debate.
Yeah, quality of games, and I would say in terms of also talking about how you talked about casual and core gamers, I would say that it really does depend on what kind of gamer you are. Like with certain games, like obviously now, the shoot 'em ups have become casual. You can enter it without having any skills, but then just work you up a little bit. You don't have to really invest in it. But then you have single player games which tend to have all that time investment. So I think I don't know. It's that side of it's very interesting, because I would consider myself more casual than core. I don't tend to go all well. Okay, there's a couple of games I do, but they're considered casual games, like Gary's Mod, because it's not anything you're investing in. It's just like a 30-minute match, and it's just fun. It's just messing around.
I would say I used to be core, but then the gaming industry as a whole kind of turned me off it, so I've definitely become a casual gamer in general.
See, I'm edging towards Nezar's position right now.
Yeah.
Because of just how the gaming industry is in general.
Honestly, I think that as personally for me as well, it's becoming like kind of a growing up thing where it's like we kind of don't have time to dedicate to like these grindy games. So stuff we may have gotten away with in secondary school where we had all that time to do that, it's really hard to get into video games nowadays when they have these huge...
You have to dedicate several hours.
Yeah.
You have to play it with people online. You have to get your friends to buy the same game so you can play it together with each other.
Exactly.
All of that. You can't it involves a hell of a lot of planning, and you just don't have the time for that.
Yeah, and that's why I found a new appreciation for more simpler kind of video games now that aren't overcomplicated in terms of its setup or how good you have to be at it, stuff like that. That's why I like nowadays. Maybe one day I was like, it's just not for you kind of thing, but nowadays I'm definitely okay with player friendliness, especially in video games, because that's what I can get into nowadays, because I can't dedicate the amount of time to get good at something.
Right, let's wrap this up. So, Reuben, put your emotions, your feelings, what you think of this whole thing in about 2 sentences.
I don't know. I would say both the gaming industry's in a bit of a pickle. Please stop these 2 concepts. No microtransactions and no early access, and we'll be all right.
Okay, Nezar, what do you got?
Microtransactions are bad, and they're not helping the industry, but I don't see them going away anytime soon. I think it's only going to get worse and worse and worse.
And my closing argument is capitalism is here. That's what these are businesses at the end of the day. They will seek money. I don't agree with them, but I can always support a company that is more about the passion behind the thing rather than the money.
#capitalism.
#capital. That's the end. At the end of the day, everything we've discovered, everything we've talked about, from the bloomin' the iPhone to the Amazon key, it's all capitalism. Anyway, we'll leave it there. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening in to the show. We hope that you had a good time. Sorry if we didn't cover any news stories that were to your particular liking. We should probably set up a Facebook website so that people can actually contact us if they want us to discuss certain things or bring up certain topics. We'll try and get on that. But again, thank you so much for listening. First of all, thank you to Reuben for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you to Nezar.
My name is Jay.
Okay, and from myself and from the rest of the team, thank you so much for listening. We hope to see you in another show next week. Take care, ladies and gentlemen. Over and out.